All right, guys, so week 3. What is going on so far?
Prep's getting better. Still kind of struggling to eat sometimes.
Struggling to eat sometimes?
Well, like, I'll get hungry, and then I get halfway through my meal, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't really want to finish this chicken.
So you're saying we're having you eat too much food?
No. But it's just certain, like, usually it's that third meal, I think I'm still getting used to it or something. But
Sure.
overall, it's been easier to stick to the 4 meals than I thought it was going to be.
Cool. That's good. That's good. I noticed your body weight is also dropping precipitously. That's awesome.
It's plateaued. Well, it's remained stable this week, I guess.
You know what's interesting? We haven't yet prescribed your meal plan. So that's all right. That's good. That's just the inflammation leaving your body and things starting to relax just a little bit. So you're in a great spot to start eating per our meal plan. Chris, what about you? What's your experience like so far?
During the week, it seems to be pretty good because meal prep on the weekend. I like the 4 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
Was always eating like a bag of snack. I eat like an 8 noon snack, 8 or after workout.
Sure.
The third meal fits in nicely.
Yeah, right where the snack was is where the 4th meal goes. That makes sense.
But for me on the weekends is really tough.
Gotcha.
And that's just a lot of crazy scheduling stuff going on in my life right now. So.
Cool. What's happening as far as like crazy scheduling on the weekends?
My fiance is moving to Dallas in a couple weeks.
That's great, man. Congratulations.
Going down to Houston, hanging out with her. She decided to leave Houston. There's just a lot of stuff like that.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
try to eat healthy, eat fish when we go out to dinner and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're still prepping ahead of time, still kind of have a schedule for when you're eating, or you just kind of
During the weekend,
throwing caution to the wind?
it's really hard.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Like Sunday night through Friday afternoon, I'm trying to really stick to it.
Yeah. I encourage you not to just give up on the weekend. Try and do what you can because 2/7 is a significant portion. Yeah, and so try and do what you can. I realize that travel and family obligations and things like that can be a significant stressor on the regimen, but try and keep to it as much as you can. Like wake up in time to have a good breakfast. Try and plan a decent lunch in there. Try and get something in the middle of the afternoon that's clean. And then if you're going out to dinner or something like that, try and manage your options at dinner and stuff like that.
Like Snap Kitchen for breakfast, stuff like that. It's healthier, but not maybe as healthy as it could be.
Cool. Yeah.
Carrots make for great late night.
Oh,
I
yeah,
discovered
yeah,
that.
he loves carrots.
Try to pack a little baggie, so.
Yeah. Awesome. Sarah, how about you?
It's going well. I'm excited to do the meal plan for me because I know you said not to look at the meal plan, but once I started measuring, I realized I was eating like 3 cups of vegetables. Maybe that's why I was uncomfortable at the end of the day. So then I couldn't help but look at what the template was and kind of start naturally prescribing and meal prepping my meals to what the template suggested. And I'm excited to tailor it to what I actually need because sometimes I feel like I'm full.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I could eat less or what, because, yeah, I'm just excited about that.
Cool. Anton?
I feel great. My biggest thing is I cut out all gluten. So everything I eat has gluten, I feel like. I feel different. I feel like I have more energy. I sleep better.
That's great.
I already ate clean. I was eating 6 meals a day before this, so going down to 4 I feel like it's easy.
Okay. Good.
I'm always hungry.
Now, are you still eating kind of the packaged Snap Kitchen meals at every meal?
I am, but what I did was I got rid of all their pastas, all their like tortillas or anything. I'm just eating strictly like chicken breast with broccoli and like sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Or like salmon with like quinoa. Or like I'm picking their strictest, most simplest meals. My breakfast is turkey sausage, potatoes every morning, and then my lunch is like chicken, broccoli, potatoes.
Okay.
I get a salad for dinner.
Potato, but I think it's quinoa. Yeah.
I can never
Yeah.
say it right, yeah.
So are you doing the palm, fist, thumb?
They're small. They're very small. I mean, it's small chicken, small everything.
I'm not worried about it being small. I'm worried about fitting our macros.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like,
the whole meal is like this big. I mean, it's everything. Yeah, carbs, right? Fried chips, fats.
nope,
No?
nope.
No?
Not inspiring confidence. But so, because the reason is we're going to get more specific. I'm going to have you take everything out of your container and weigh it now.
Okay.
You don't get to just eat the container. You got to take it out and weigh it. For most people, they're going to be food prepping, and they get to kind of like have their Tupperware containers of stuff, and they take it out and weigh it and eat it. So you have to take everything out and weigh it now and measure it.
No more cheese, nothing.
That's great.
I feel
Yeah.
like a little difference.
Good. Eating clean is great, but eating clean is not enough. It's not enough. Because the three major factors in body composition and performance nutrition are caloric surplus or deficit, which if we're not specifically controlling quantities of food, we're not controlling for. That's number one. Number two is food quality. Sounds like you're doing great there. So let's give that one a gold star. That's doing really well. And the last one is meal timing. So macronutrient timing. When are we eating what? And that's where we're going to get to with our meal plan right here. So it totally can be done. Can be done. So guys, that's where we're going next. And so, Sarah, I heard you say you were trying the meal plan out a little bit.
Yes.
I hope you weren't adhering to that too closely because it wasn't set up for you.
Is
Yeah.
that why I'm also full all the time?
Might be. Yeah. I might have had you in there as a 220 pounder.
I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not hungry at all. This feels great.
Who sells? Do you have anybody in town that sells like meals that strict meals like you're talking about? Is there any like person like in My Fit Foods but goes like the strict?
Pretty much every grocery store in the city.
I know, but without me having to do all that, that's my biggest thing. I just want to go purchase it for the week and just eat it.
Yeah, I think any place with a hot bar. So like Whole Foods, Central Market,
Yeah.
buy potatoes, buy chicken, buy,
Buy it prepped and then just go measure it out.
yeah.
So reuse those containers.
I haven't
for
cooked in years. That's what I'm trying to get at.
But you don't have to cook
So
it
if
if
you
it's
buy
already
the hot bar, then it's already cooked. You just have to portion it out and reheat it.
Okay.
That's how mine works.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I
But
have a question about people's fats, because I think that's the one thing I haven't really nailed down. I've only done it in cooking oil, but I haven't done it. Is avocado the only other fat that people?
I mean, it's weird adding butter to my rice, but it tastes a lot better.
so if we revisit what fats are available, and by the way, if you were to tap on the title of those, it'll tell you. Yeah. Fats that you can just add on top: olive oil, it's great. Butter is great. Olive oil is monounsaturated. Avocado, macadamia nut oil, and butter or saturated fats. Those are all great. Those work really well. Yeah, it's good stuff,
It's
right?
really exciting. I never really thought I'd be that excited about butter with my rice. But
It's delicious, right?
oh my gosh, it makes it so much better.
Yeah, so do you know why that's so good? It's the big three. Your brain is programmed through evolution to respond well to the combination of fats, carbohydrates, and salt all in the same place. Because that's a really like nutrient dense, energy dense thing. We typically would not find that in nature. And so if you could find that combination and your brain is like, oh my God, get as much of this as we can because it's amazing stuff and it can help sustain your body because our bodies are used to feast and famine. And so when it found nutrient-rich stuff, you really want to gorge on that. And so while we don't want to gorge on it, that's why your body does like that stuff. So you're kind of programmed to want it. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into our meal plans here. Your meal plans have now, as of this afternoon, this evening, been set up for your biometrics, your body fat percentage, your height, your age, your weight, all of that stuff. And here's where we're going to go at it. So we're going to talk about, first of all, what does the template mean? And if you guys can pull up your meal template where you're at, they should work well on your phone. That's what they're designed for. We'll talk about what template you're going to start on and why. We're going to talk about your training intensity, your training timing, and then the difference between macros and meal prep and kind of how we should be using this throughout the day. So let me know when you guys have your meal plan up and are looking at it, and we will continue forward. Did your phone die?
It's been dying at like 30%.
Sorry.
I thought you were upset about your food.
Probably, but we'll deal with it.
All right, guys, we ready to rock?
Ready.
Good stuff. Okay, so at the very top, underneath your name, you'll see template. And for most of you, unless you've been playing with it, it should just say maintenance. And so based on your initial goals, we're going to set you on an initial template here. Now, later in our sessions, we'll talk about how to modulate that template based on a combination of what you're seeing in your body as well as what you'd like to accomplish as far as goals for the end of the challenge. For right now, if you are interested in keeping your body weight the same and just optimizing performance and body composition, we're going to leave it at maintenance. If you're interested in losing mass, losing fat mass typically is what people want to lose, we're going to go down to cut 1. If you're interested in bulking and adding more muscle mass, we're going to go up to bulk 1. Go ahead and make that change now. Because once you're looking at that cut 1, maintenance, or bulk 1, kind of the next thing down from that is a selection for training intensity. And this is just modulating how much activity we have that day. So it's based on a good guess about your basal metabolic rate, based on how big you are and how active you are and how lean you are, as well as how old you are. In addition to that, we're going to set our training intensity here. And the way we look at this, rest day, obviously a day that we're not training. Any day if you go for like a light run or you do a little bit of what we might call cardio, something like that, that's a rest day. And so anything if you're just like, oh, go out for a couple mile jog, cool, that's a rest day. Anything that's got any serious training in it, serious weightlifting, some CrossFit, something like that, we're going to put that at a less than 90 minutes. Now, greater than 90 minutes, that might mean like 2 classes, 2 CrossFit classes in one, or we do a bunch of heavy training that day. And that would be a greater than 90 minutes. So we're thinking 9 minutes or less is just a single CrossFit class. Like you come in, maybe we do some strength training that day, and then we hit a Metcon. That's 90 minutes or less. If you're doing the sports programming where you're pairing several heavy lifts with possibly another heavy lift or some gymnastics work as well as some conditioning work, that would be a greater than 90 minutes. And so that kind of modulates 2 things. One is calories, the other is carbohydrate to meet your training needs. Liz, you had a question on training intensity.
Yes. One, does it have to be a consecutive 90 minutes, like back to back? Like, does that make sense?
Give me an example.
Part 2 of my question was like, what if you did a run or a spin class and then came and did CrossFit in the afternoon?
Yeah, so a run or a spin probably goes as rest day. Okay. And then so if you do a CrossFit in the afternoon, that would be a greater than 90 minutes. If it's like typically this doesn't happen, but spin classes are usually aerobic. And so anything like light aerobic activity is going to be considered rest days type stuff. Next up, as we pop down, we see training time here, and this is kind of an important one. Timing of our macronutrients is critical to how your body uses them for energy and how that's going to affect your muscle mass as well as your fat mass on the body, trying to maximize muscle mass, trying to minimize fat mass. And so with our training timing, we do that of where does your training fall with relationship to your meals. And so if you're waking up, you go to a 5:30 a.m. class, going to first thing in the morning, timing there. If we're eating after breakfast, kind of a mid-morning training session, after 1 meal, typically after 2 meals is kind of the afternoon training session, like a noonish, something like that. After 3 meals is typically an evening training session. That's like a 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, something like that. And then after 4 meals is typically not ideal. And that's not our favorite time to train. That would be like an 8 or 9 o'clock at night. If you're in a pinch, it can happen occasionally, but preferably earlier in the day. Training that late at night typically isn't sustainable over a long duration of time. And so you'll notice, go ahead and tap through those a little bit. You'll notice how it moves some things around just a little bit. You can see it move your macronutrients up and down. It's pushing carbohydrates towards your workout, and it's pushing fats away from your workout. The reason for that, carbohydrates we talked about being fuel for your workout, so we want carbohydrates near our workout. They really do 2 things for us. One, they give you the energy to work at very high intensity, heavy weightlifting or very high-end aerobic or anaerobic work. They also help you recover from your workout, and so that's really their function in our diet. If you're not training, if you're not working out, our need for carbohydrate is typically very low. And so we need some carbohydrate if we're going to be training hard, both to fuel our workout as well as to recover from our workout afterwards. And so you'll see that around the workout. We're also pushing fats away from your workout. Fats are great as far as very steady state fueling goes. They're very slow burning, very even energy, and hormonally they're pretty neutral, meaning they don't cause an insulin spike in your body. And so there's no real risk to having fats away from your workout. But we also want to keep them away because they're very slow digesting. We don't want to have a lot of fat, heavy food in our stomach digesting very slowly as we go to train hard. Additionally, they're going to slow down the insulin response of your body during a meal. And so adding fat to a meal will drop the glycemic index of that total meal. The glycemic load, glycemic index, we're going to use those kind of interchangeably. They do not mean the same thing. But generally speaking, we can think of the glycemic index of an entire meal, multiple things put together as once, chew it up, goes to your belly, is that if there's fat in that, it's going to slow the glycemic index. We don't want that around our workout. During our workout period, either before or after, we want the carbs and we want them now, because we want that to get into our system and either fuel us for the workout immediately or start the recovery process really fast. We don't want to wait for that to happen. So you notice push the fats towards the outsides around your workout.